you know, you see that star in the back, you see that Cowboys right here. You know, we go hard on them Cowboys, and that's a selfish plug. Make sure you check out my show tonight, Best of Enemies podcast with them Philly guys. It's going to be awesome. But today, like I've been telling you, we've been having a slew of great interviews with a lot of great high school athletes, and I got another one. I got another dog. And he's from Kentucky, Louisville, Male, Kentucky. And there was a big time quarterback that went there too, that went to the league. But this Kolter Smith, maybe following in his footsteps, trying to get to that league as well. So without further ado, let's introduce yourself, Kolter, and then let's kind of jump into this interview.
Hi, I'm Kolter Smith. I play quarterback at Louisville Male High School, class of 2024. Yeah.
Nice. So let's jump right into it. So the first thing that jumped out at me is your passion. And it's a passion to be great. I tell every kid I'm not a stalker or anything like that, but I did go through your Twitter page. But one thing I noticed, man, you are always working. I mean, you are in the lab trying to hone your craft. Where did that kind of inner kind of passion come from? Tell me about that.
I think a lot of it just comes with the person you are, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously a little bit of it has to be instilled with you, but I think a lot of it comes with the people I surround myself with. And I'm very particular with who I surround myself with, and like the people I want to be with and people I work with. And I've been blessed to have a lot of role models and a lot of mentors to kind of help me in that. And I've been blessed to talk to a lot of guys who have done what I'm trying to do. And so I've been very blessed in getting good mentorship and good advice from them. I've had great coaches, teammates. My parents are amazing as well. So just the people I surround myself with, it's a blessing. The role models I have. So I have a lot of support, and I'm really good with that.
Hey, number one. That's awesome. You got to have a great support system, especially in this day and age. Especially when you're trying to go where you want to go, you got to have that surrounding. But there's nothing better to have your parents first as that core value right there, and then kind of surround yourself with everything else. So we've already seen your dad, and he's an awesome gentleman, and so big ups to that right there. So let's talk about the quarterback position right now. Now, I've had a few QBs on there. Shout out to Aiden Armenta, Aiden Dash. I've had Reese Reese Morey. A lot of good quarterbacks that have been on there. If I forgot anybody, I apologize to y'all. Y'all know who y'all are. But let's talk about you right now. So you're a quarterback. How long you been playing that position? Has that something that's been with you the whole time? You kind of been maybe little league football, things of that nature. Has quarterback always been your thing?
No. So I I actually wanted to play quarterback before. In little league, when you watched football highlights, it was never like, oh, that guy was so cool because it was the guy throwing the ball. It was like, oh, I want to be the guy diving out for catches or running down the field scoring touchdowns. And so that I was a tight end and receiver in little league up until like fifth grade year. Our starting quarterback went down. And I never played it, but I played baseball, so I just had a good arm.
Mm-hmm.
And so the coaches were like, hey, let's just try it out. And then just from there, it kind of took off, and I fell in love with it.
So fate had its way right there.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, he was playing all this other stuff, but we just need to have to touch that football one time. They probably like, once you threw the ball, like, hey, don't let him play nothing else. He's playing quarterback. No more tight end, no more of this. He's playing quarterback right now. Was that kind of the thing that kind of hit you right there after that?
Yeah, and I was actually really nervous to start it, but once you get into it and you start doing it, and like I said, the coaches and people I had around me, like it was just something I fell in love with, and I continue to keep doing it and keep working on it and becoming better and better at it every day.
Nice. That's pretty awesome right there. So tell me from your side of it, what's your strengths at the position? I mean, is your arm, is it able to read coverages? What kind of do best, and what also do you think Kolter wants to add to his toolbox as a quarterback forward?
At the quarterback position, I think I have a very capable arm. I'm able to make a lot of the throws on the field. I think I do a really good job on getting the ball out quick and making good decisions with where I put the ball. I do think I'm getting better and better every day at reading coverages, watching film and all that stuff that comes with being a quarterback. I get better and better at that every day, and I'm very confident in my decision making at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I think an accuracy of mine is also a very big strength of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Some things I want to add to my toolbox, just like always, I'm always working on my footwork and always getting better in the pocket, feeling the rush, avoiding it, extending plays, just stuff like that.
Awesome.
Continue to keep getting better and better at.
Okay. Now let me ask you. Last year, what was your touchdown to interception ratio? Do you know?
It was probably like 24, 25 touchdowns and maybe 4 to 5 interceptions. I
Okay.
couldn't
Okay.
tell you. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now, do you happen to know? Because I'm gonna need to get this stuff from you this year. Completion percentage. I'm gonna need all that because I want to continue to show how good of a quarterback you are. Now, you're the first kid that I actually have from Kentucky, which is pretty awesome. A lot of the kids I've interviewed have been from like Texas, Mississippi, Virginia, Florida.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome. Kentucky to me is like a hotbed in football. I don't know about anybody else, but it seems like they take it real personal down in Kentucky about football. Now, your school is a named school. I mean, you had quite a few really good players come out of your high school. One in particular, Chris Redman, who ended up in the league, and he played quarterback at your school. Now, since you're playing quarterback right there, is that something that if any quarterback plays there, they always bring him up, or is that something to shoot for? What's that situation like that with him being like the guy that was the quarterback there?
Well, I mean, yes, there's just an expectation that comes with playing at a great high school like this. Like Mayo
Mm-hmm.
High School, not a lot of people know, but we're actually the second most winningest team in the country right now. So there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot that comes with that, like the expectations and the standards that are set at Mayo High School that you have to continue to keep. At least if you're not, you have to beat the standard every year. And every year it gets harder and harder and more pressure because of Chris Redmond and the people who've come out of the school. The pressure's through the roof. And I mean, you either live up to the hype or you don't.
Right. See, that's the first thing I noticed. I ain't gonna lie, Kolter. When I looked at your Twitter and then I seen the high school, I said, "Oh no, he definitely got to come on there." Because I remember just off the rip, because I've been in the ranks since '70s, '80s, so I've seen a lot of it. But I remember Louisville Mel, and I was like, "Oh man, he goes to a dog high school. He definitely got to come on here because there have been nothing but dogs come out of that high school." So I know, like you said, the expectation has to be off the roof and the pressure. So for real, I give you big ups for playing the quarterback position, because tell me, that pressure has to be like no other when you step on that field.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, there's always pressure when it comes with the quarterback position. Just
Right.
everything, the game is on you. Like everything is in your hands. And you either love that or you don't. And it comes with
Mm-hmm.
the ups and it comes with the downs when you're winning or losing. Like everything's on you. So you either fall in love with it and you take it with the pressure and you work with it, or you let the pressure crumble you. So I try to do my best to just not let it crumble me. Obviously I know I'm gonna make mistakes, but my key thing is to just move on from them and next play. Never like down on the same mistake over and over again, because you let it get you down. And if you're in your head, everything, so much other stuff is in your head, it's not going to work out for you.
Exactly. That's a great answer right there, especially if you forget the next play. Because let's say you throw an interception, you keep your head down and keep on harping on that interception, you're never going to be able to move forward. And it's just going to take your team down to a bad spiral. So I really love that answer that you just gave me right there. Now let's talk about some expectations that you have from yourself. Obviously, personal and team goals. Obviously, your team goal, you want to win a championship. That's got to be the mantra every single year. But not just from that team standpoint, what other things that you maybe having some goals with your team? Maybe with some things you want to accomplish, leadership, some things of that nature. Have you ever thought of that?
Yeah. So just to kind of give it like team goals for this year right now are to definitely go back to state and hopefully flip the script this year. We have a big rivalry here in Kentucky with Louisville Male and Manual. So the big goal for us is to keep that barrel where it is and where it should be. Another team goal of us is like right now we're the second most winningest team in the country, and we're only 6 wins away from being the first. So that's a
Nice.
big team goal for us, and that's something that's in the back of our head. So that'd be really important if we get that. Some personal goals for me are just, like you said, with leadership, keep getting better and hopefully helping the younger guys out on the team. Because
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people, as an upperclassman, finally, I have the opportunity to help them and kind of give them guidance and where they kind of how the same I was, where I was looking
Mm-hmm.
for that guidance. I get to be that person now.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, with the quarterback position, I want to win it this year. We're in a competition right now, so that'll be fun. And then we have more personal goals for me are to definitely get my completion rate above 65, 70%, because that's
Mm-hmm.
something that's big for me. I
Mm-hmm.
want to keep interceptions to a minimum, keep them in like it's at least single digit, or if not any. Uh, Yeah, so I have a lot of personal goals. Keep my grades up.
Yep.
I have to do that because that's big for me. I
Hmm.
have a 3.9 GPA, which is really good so far. So I'm working on that. And then also just visiting schools and, getting my name out there still working on that. And, visiting schools, making relationships with college coaches and seeing like starting to narrow down my recruiting process.
Nice, nice. And that's great. And we're going to talk about those academics here in a second. But let's jump into some camps. I really love your personal and team goals. Those are really awesome. Let's talk about some camps because one of the things I liked on there, you were actually in my neck of the woods. I'm out here in Columbus, Ohio, and you actually went to a Miami of Ohio camp. Actually, I have a few of my guys I used to play in high school with that went to the University of Miami of Ohio, the Red Hawks. So I was like, oh, okay, let's talk about that. So let's kind of talk about some of the camps that you went to. The main thing I want to ask you, Kolter, what was the impression that you wanted to leave the college coaches there? And what impression did you think? What were you really trying to let these college coaches know that every camp you went to about Kolter Smith?
I always like to leave it like your first impression is the biggest impression on anybody you leave it. So I always like to leave a good first impression.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing isn't always like I don't want to be that cocky big guy who shows up
Right.
and like I'm the guy who's gonna be there and I'm gonna show you that I'm willing to work. I'm willing to do everything I can and keep getting better and better. And if I make a mistake, I'm gonna come back and fix it. I want to show the coaches that I'm a coachable, and then kind of keeping a good energy because a lot of people reflect that, like keeping good
Mm-hmm.
energy and vibes with you. A lot of people see that energy, and especially as a quarterback, like people always tell you, like the energy is on you. Like if your head's down, everybody's head's down. So like
Mm-hmm.
showing that I have a good energy and showing that like I reflect off people and just stuff like that, like keeping a good first impression.
Yeah, that's awesome, especially in the body language. They always
Yeah,
look at body language. If they see you coming down with your head down, the body language. They're like, is this guy really the guy that we really want leading the team? Is this guy that we really want us to lead to a championship? Because if he gets down that quick, how are we going to follow him? So I really love how the example that you try to set on and off the field. But let's talk about a little bit of that off the field. Now I asked every young man how the grades are. Obviously, you told me. Now you have 2 years still of high school, correct?
correct.
Okay, so let me ask you. Obviously, let's keep it real. Every kid that wants to play the game of football and they really are immersed in it, they probably have aspirations of the league. Everybody does. I can admit that. But let's say there always got to be a plan B. You know what I mean? There's always got to be a plan B. So, have you thought about maybe a career or outside of football? What really kind of gets you going in school? Maybe what's your favorite subject? Have you thought about those type of things?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my parents have always told me, football doesn't last forever. Like there's gonna come a time, either you get hurt or, you make it and then you play your 5, 6, but there's always something after football. And
Mm-hmm.
so, I've had to take that serious. So my favorite subject's probably science. But the thing I've always thought about, because when you're in love with the sport, you can't let that go. Like
Right,
people
right,
who
right.
you don't make it to the league, they still have their aspirations and they still do whatever they can to stay involved with it. So a big thing for me is like sports science. I really find that like fun. And so working this year and next year, I'm just trying to get involved there and see what schools kind of have good science programs, things like that. So yeah, stuff like that.
I like that. I like that. You probably sound like me. I've been a person that I play sports like all my life. And then even when I had my sons, they played. And then after that, I coached. It's like I can't get away from the
You can't
game.
get away from it.
And you see, I got the podcast now, right? Talk about sports. You feel me? It's like I can't get away with it. So it sounds like you have that same type of passion. Like even if you're not playing it, I gotta have some kind of around it, be around it.
Yeah.
Because it seems like people who really love it, they bring the best out of the sport, whether you're playing it or not. And you seem like you're the type of young man that's going to do that, and you're going to be great. So I'm really excited to see your future and how you're going to go with that. But let me ask you now. Me and you kind of talked off air, and we can want to talk about that now. Now you talked about the great support system you have and the mentorship, but besides that, I want to know who is some of the main people right now when you wake up in the morning, you're going to work out, you're going to train, when you're getting tired and you feel like I don't feel like doing today, or you might get down, who are some of those people at the top of the list that get you motivated and keep you going and say, man, I ain't just doing this for them. I just for myself, I'm doing this for them as well.
Yeah. I think one, that's my parents, definitely. they're my biggest support, and I couldn't do anything without them. And their role modelship to me, and like I look up to them a lot. They're very strong, and they've worked very hard to get me where I'm at with my resources. Another big mentor for me is my coach. His name's James Fletcher. And every year I look forward to working with him in the off season because I've learned so much from him. Like I've been working with him since I was in Little League.
Mm-hmm.
Like the year I told you about when I turned from tight end to quarterback,
Yeah.
he was the person who worked with me and got me ready for that. So I've been working with him for as long as I've played the position, and like working with him is so amazing because he played quarterback at Alabama. So he's
Right.
been where I want to go. So his mentorship, his leadership to me, and I mean, honestly, it's more like family now than just coaching. Like the love we have for one another is amazing. And he always tells me like being quarterback's the hardest position because you get all the praise when you're doing amazing, you get all the when you don't. And
Yep.
so he's instilled like this mental toughness in me that I have to be able to take the praise, but I have to take that lightly. I have to be able to take the hate and take that lightly too, and just kind of stay course. So he's been a big mentor for me. Marty Lowe, who played quarterback at Louisville. He has been a quarterback coach for me as well, forever now. But people that I like to say I'm not just doing this for me is actually like a lot of my teammates.
Mm-hmm.
Every day we go out, like we go
Mm-hmm.
out and work. It's not just a me, like I'm going out. It's like we're all going out and putting the work in, and putting our bodies on the line, sacrificing what free time that we have, or like just so like doing this for them is more important for me, and succeeding for them, making myself the best so that we can be the best team possible.
Hey, I like that. Hey, and there's nothing better, man, than this how a team becomes great. Just what you were talking about, that last statement, when you're like, we don't just do this separate. We're doing this as a team. We go out as a team. We hang out as a team. We go kick it. That's how it makes it. It's that off season. When you keep building that off season, then when you're on the football field, it's really, really easy, man. It's so easy. It's almost like you see kids who aren't together. You can tell the teams and the players aren't together because as soon as some adversity happens, I've seen it all the time from the sideline. They start arguing with each other, yelling at each other on the field, starts being all crazy. But when that team is together, you can just tell the difference, how they always stay kind of even keel. And that's what, even just listen to you at the quarterback position, you must stay even keel because, as you said, when you're winning, you're getting all the love. But when you're losing and it may not be you, they're going to blame you. If the running back ain't doing it, who they blaming? Quarterback. If the receiver ain't doing it, who they blaming? Quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So that's a great thing that you already got the mindset and the frame to be able to be great and be able to handle those type things. So let me ask you, I know you're coming into your junior season. Have you had any like soft offers from any schools, anything like that?
I've talked to a lot of coaches in school so far throughout my recruiting process, and each day I get to talk more and more. I get to learn more about the school, the program, and I've had a lot of interest come out from those, and I've had coaches I've been talking to for a while now, since like freshman, 8th grade year.
Right,
so
right.
I started early. So I'm not gonna get all into the recruiting process.
Got you.
It's looked good so far.
All right, now let me ask you this. You're obviously in the state of Kentucky. Now, do you want to stay in that area, or are you the type of player that I don't care where I go, I just want to have the school fit for me? Because some kids don't want to leave the state. They're homebodies. They want to stay in the state. They want their parents to watch them. They don't want to travel. Are you that type of athlete, or does it matter where you go?
A lot of, like you said, a lot of people want to be that hometown hero, and I think I would love that. But I also I'm open to leaving the state. If like I want it, like you said, I want to go to the school that's best fit for me,
Right.
and whatever school that is, I want to go to the school that's gonna best benefit me for my future. And I've talked to my parents about it, and they've told me like they'll make it out to my games. No matter, like it's not a thing where if I leave, they won't come. So I don't have that pressure on me. So I'm just really working about where I want to go, what's going to benefit me most, what's the best fit for me, the best like coaching. Because like when you look into the recruiting process, you don't just want to coach, kind of like what I was talking about, that family feeling, And so I've been looking for that, just the best fit for me kind of thing.
That's awesome. And let me give a shout out to your mother and father. They've done a absolutely tremendous job in raising you. I love the support system that they've given you, even meeting your father in the very beginning. I always love seeing that, like my sons played, I supported them like no other. And a lot of people don't understand the sacrifices parents make for their child to be great. And so and when you just said that, if I go out of state, they're going to be there. I can believe that. I believe, especially dad. I know dad gonna be there. If ain't nobody else gonna be there, I know pop's gonna be there. So I love seeing that and hearing that answer. That's awesome, man. And make sure you give them a big shout out for what they've done and raising you to be great, man. That's just awesome. So before we get off of here, do you have any final shout outs, anything before we head off of here today, Colton?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. Well, hey, we definitely appreciate you. And so I just want to tell you this, like I've told all the young athletes, Kolter, that this is what we're going to do. So we're going to do a beginning of the season interview. We're going to do a
Mhm.
mid-season interview, and then we're going to do an end of the season interview. And basically, why we're doing this is because we want to talk about your goals, the goals that you set forth when me and you first interviewed. We want to see how they're going mid-season, and then at the end of the year, we want to see if you met those goals that we talked about. Also, if you can get as much tape as you can, that would be awesome. We're going to be highlighting your tape on our shows with all the athletes. We're going to do a weekly show. We're going to do awards. We're going to do things of that nature. So as much tape as you can get me and the stats every week, I would like to have those because we're going to be posting those. I got a producer that's coming back down here from California, and he's really going to do a lot of things to set up with a studio and things of that nature. So we're going to really highlight some things. So I think you're really going to like it. So as much information you can give me, the more stuff I can do for you and continue to put that name out there so the whole world can know about what you are and what you bring to the table and how great you're about to be, especially when you hit that college gridiron as well. So
Sure.
without further ado, for myself, Big Game James, quarterback Kolter Smith, we'll be talking to you soon.
Yes,
Generation
sir.
Next and the next up and comers. Peace. We out.